Hi everyone, welcome back to Live Darts. We're here in Amsterdam nice and early and we've got Arjan from RTL7. Followed darts for a long time, Arjan, so we thought you'd get you on being we're in Holland.
Yep.
First of all, great to have a major being played here in Amsterdam.
Definitely. It's brilliant. I mean, I've been waiting for it a long time, and to have the World Series final in Amsterdam in the AFAS Live, which is a very nice venue, not too big, so it's cozy, it's nice, the atmosphere is good. Yeah, I love it.
Is Holland ready to have more than this, do you think?
Yes, I think so. We've got the Premier League 2 nights in a row in Rotterdam. We've had it a few years now, and that's always a sea of orange with the Dutch fans and everybody from the PDC, the players, officials, the press, media. Everybody is talking afterwards about the atmosphere, that it's unique for the Premier League, and I think that shows. That Holland is ready for another big tournament, definitely.
Again, I'm guessing the gambling laws opening up helps massively because of sponsorship and everything,
Yep.
everything like that. So hopefully that's the green light that we may get one of the week-long tournaments in Holland one day.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know exactly what the status is for the moment for the gambling laws, but well, we see Jack's Casino here on stage, but I don't know if we're allowed to do a little bit more than just that. I don't know.
I think it's changing next year, 2022, I think. So hopefully that should open it up for Dutch darts.
Yeah.
Moving us on to Dutch darts, it's a fairy tale that could come to an end here. It's Raymond van Barneveld's last tournament here in Holland. What's the reaction and the buzz been like around about this?
Well, the fans are looking forward to this because everybody wants to be here to eventually see Raymonds' last match. And I say eventually because it could be tonight, could be tomorrow, because we all know that this tournament in Holland is going to be Raymonds' last tournament in Holland. But will it end tonight? I don't know. I think a lot depends on Raymond himself. I saw on Twitter that he already posted something saying, well, for you, my fans, the Barney Army, I'd like to perform well for last time. So that shows to me that he's already busy thinking about that, and if you think about it, it could be your last game in your last tournament, it probably will be then. So I'll keep my fingers crossed for him, really I do, because I really hope he's going to play tomorrow. But I think it will be a very, very difficult match for him with a lot of emotions, because he's thinking about 25, 30 years of darts history, and he made darts history in Holland. And that's all coming through his mind tonight, so it will be hard for him.
Well, we saw that in Rotterdam, didn't we? The occasion almost was too much for him, and we saw he broke down in tears and everything like that.
He was.
So I'm guessing this will be the same. Those emotions will be hard to control.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, well, we can all understand that. We have never been there after so many years playing darts and being one of the best in the world for years. He has, and it's only up to him how he reacts on that. Can he deal with his emotions? Can he give it a place during the match and before the match? I don't know. I think it will be very, very difficult for him. And with an opponent like Jermaine the machine gun, who is throwing very, very fast, maybe that's an advantage for Raymond, because it doesn't give him a lot of time to think in between the legs, in between the throws, because it goes on and on and on, bang, 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 next. But it's all up to Raymond.
Is that something Raymond struggled with in recent years, is controlling his emotions? Because he used to be ice cold on stage, but we've seen it more and more where he gets involved, the head starts shaking. Is that something he's really struggled with in the last few years? Yeah,
I would say maybe more than a few years. I reckon that's since maybe 2012, 13, 14, the last 5, 6 years that he's been struggling with. I don't know if it's dealing with his emotions. I think he's having a lot of doubts. His self-confidence in the years when he was the best in the world, and I think for a period he was the best in the world, maybe even better than Phil Taylor was in 2007. He beat him in the World Finals. That self-confidence from those years, that's gone, and he's having doubts about everything. Am I wearing the proper shirt? Am I having the good flights? Are my stamps are right? Everything he's thinking about it. My throw, have I got the good weight? So self-confidence is such an important thing mentally for all the dart players and everybody involved in sports. That's Raymond's struggle for life for a few years now.
Obviously, you know Raymond better than most, and when he retired at the Premier League, do you think he should have stuck by that? Because the fairy tale year hasn't gone according to plan or how he would have liked it. I know we all know he wants one more shot at Alexandra Palace, but playing devil's advocate here, if he was to go out round 1 or round 2 at Ali Pali, that almost dampens the mood of the goodbye, doesn't it?
Well, to be honest, Phil, I think he should have stopped after the last Worlds and not even play the Premier League. It was a huge disappointment for him and for all the Dutch fans that he lost to Darius Labanauskas. Well, to be honest, it was painful. It was a painful moment for him, being a 5-time world champion, being kicked out by Darius Labanauskas, who didn't even play well, but Raymond was a bit more worse. I think he should have stopped then, and not. He shouldn't have had an invitation for the Premier League. And of course, you can say, well, then he hasn't got a moment for a farewell tournament or whatever. But that would have been there anyway. But to put him in the Premier League all those weeks after weeks after weeks, well, they proved he didn't make it to the last 8. So no, that was hard.
Just touching on something you said there as well, with him struggling to come to terms with he's not the best anymore. We spoke to Phil recently, and Phil said something similar. Those last few years, he couldn't get his head around that he wasn't the best anymore. Do you think that's something we're seeing more and more from these top sports stars, that they've dominated for so long, and when it goes, they can't quite react or adapt to, hang on a minute, I'm not the best anymore?
Most definitely, because I think a lot of them think they're the best, but not convinced. There's only 1 or 2, let's say Michael and maybe Gary on a good day, convinced that they're the best. And all the rest they can say thinking that I might be the best, but they're not convinced. It's all about mental warfare. And if in your mind everything is 100% perfect and the self-belief, the self-confidence is there, then you play a good match. And there's only a few of them who can do that.
Speaking of Michael, like you said, I don't think I've ever seen anyone with his confidence that there is never a doubt in his mind, even when he was going through his little dip in form.
Well, he's having doubts then. He was having doubts then. He's not saying it, but if you know him well, like I do, he was having doubts. Definitely.
It's interesting you say that, because obviously you know him more than us, and he comes across, he puts a great poker face on.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'll be fine. But there was genuine concern in his game.
Yeah. He wouldn't say it in front of a camera.
No.
No way.
Oh, yeah, of
because
course.
you know it's going out on television or on the internet. He would never say, I'm having doubts. But when you're one-on-one with him, and on, for instance, playing a game of snooker, or what we sometimes do, yeah, he sometimes said, well, yeah, I was having doubts. Did I practice enough or not? He's never having doubts about his darts. And the self-confidence is there. But he was... A few years ago, Michael was nearly unbeatable for all the other players, maybe including Phil. He had a feeling that he was unbeatable. And the last 2 years or so, he showed some vulnerable moments. And of course, it had something to do with his private life as well, which I'm not going to mention any further, but he was vulnerable at moments, and he was having his thoughts as well. And when you start thinking, you're not 100% focused anymore. So even Michael had that.
In Dublin, that 1-3-5 against Jamie Hughes, has that one moment perhaps single-handedly changed the complexion of the season, not just for Michael, but for everyone else, because he seems to have just lifted and elevated again from that one moment of potentially going out of the tournament?
That 1-3-5, Phil, it's a good thing for you to mention it, because that 1-3-5 made sure he won the tournament. Because before he was stepping to throw those darts for the 1-3-5 finish, I thought like, oh Michael, if you're not going to hit this, you're out, because Jamie was on the finish. But he hit it, and that's Michael. He's extraordinary sometimes. And he was clever enough and honest enough afterwards to mention in the interview that 1-3-5 made sure I made it to the second round, different format, longer format, and that made sure he won the tournament. Definitely. If he wouldn't have hit that 1-3-5, the chances of going out would have been huge. Then he wouldn't have won the World Grand Prix. A few more tournaments, maybe. Maybe he would have been in a dip again. People start asking questions, especially the media, of course. Michael, what's going on? You didn't make it again. Well, and now he's back like he wants to be. I'm the man.
Talking about the media comments, I think he quite likes the media comments as well. So I remember this time last year when a lot of people in the media were saying, right now, Gary Anderson is the best player in the world.
Yep.
And you could almost see him go, no, I'm not having this. And from that moment, when everyone was saying that, he went on one of those runs again. So I think he feeds off of the crowd telling him, or the media telling him, that he's not the best.
Most definitely, because I had an example like that as well at the World Match Play. In the first round, I believe he beat Steve Payton.
Yeah.
And then he knew that in the second round he had to play Glenn Durrant. An interview I had with Michael live on RTL 7, I said to him, Michael, if you play like this, what you just performed to against Steve, if you play like this when you're playing Glenn, you're not going to make it. And he responded saying, he was a bit agitated. He said, so you think I wasn't good enough? No, I said you were good enough to beat Steve. But if you play like this, you're not going to beat Glenn. Now you're triggering me, he said. Now you're triggering me. So you really think... I said, well, to tell you one thing, I don't even think you're going to beat him. Or you're really triggering me. And that's what he sometimes I think he needs. He needs people around him who not all go, yeah, Michael, yeah, you're the best, yeah, the best. No, he needs somebody to step on the pedal and say, no, maybe you're not.
Like Vincent does for him as well.
Well, like Vincent does, exactly.
As well, going on to Dutch darts in general, is Michael bridging the gap between the fans and the Barney army? Because we all know Michael is the best, but the fans love Barney more than Michael, it seems, from watching.
Yep.
Is he bridging that gap?
Maybe after Raymond retires, maybe. Because then the Dutch fan, they're looking for a new hero. And I all think they're gonna pick Michael because he's the best, and it's so easy to cheer for the best, and especially when he's Dutch. And if you're a Dutch fan, you go like, okay, they had the choice to choose for Barney or for Michael. And as you said, Barney is a huge popular dart player. He's more popular than Michael is in Holland because he created darts history. He started it by winning the Embassy in 98, doing it again in 99. Made his third world title in 2003, his fourth in 2005. His fifth in 2007, in his first World Championship for the PDC, beating Phil Taylor in the last final leg. Everybody in Holland was like, Barney is the man. And of course, Michael is a better player, but he hasn't got that many titles, world titles. So Raymond made history for Holland. He's the most popular player. And once he stopped, Michael steps in. And I think the fans will all go for Michael from there on. But not tonight. I think tonight it's going to be Barney Army, definitely.
The young Dutch coming through as well. Obviously, we've got Danny Noppert, Jeffrey De Zwaan.
Yep.
The next two coming through. How good potentially can they be? Because Jeffrey especially, we've seen moments of brilliance.
Yep.
But then last night, when he's not quite at that level, there's almost no B game, as we call it. His A game is very good.
Yep.
But then he dips. How good can Jeffrey and Danny be in the Dutch setup?
And don't forget Jermaine Watimena, because after Michael, he's the second best Dutch player at the moment. I think they've got a long way ahead of them. Because, as we spoke about it before, it's all about mental. If you're mentally fine, you're really convinced that you can make it, and then the circumstances have to be right as well. Maybe you can make it. Maybe they can make it to the top 10, top 12. But it will be very, very, very hard. They're not going to step into Raymond's footsteps. Definitely not, because he was far too good for that. It's difficult. It's difficult. I find it's a very difficult question to answer, Phil, because are they going to make it? I'm not sure. Jeffrey has showed some potential, but he has showed some weakness as well. So he's going up and down. Jermaine, beat Peter Wright, was playing brilliant. Peter Wright in Dublin, and afterwards fell back a little. So if they can be more consistent, and Danny Noppert as well, maybe they can make it to the top 12. But there's so many good players.
Going below them as well, around the real youth level, the JDC Dutch team, unbelievable for them in Gibraltar.
Yep.
Just Dutch darts in general from a young age seems to be in a real good place as well, and in 15, 20 years time we're going to have a very good crop of young Dutchmen coming through.
I guess so, yes. Well, that's not a guess, I'm convinced. Because darts in the days used to be a pub sport. And you can even having doubts whether it was a sport, but it was something to be done in a pub. Not in Holland for a long time anymore. You got those small special venues where they're going to train kids how to play darts, how do you need to stand, how to throw, everything. It's not like, okay, we're just doing something and we'll see who comes up first. No, it's education by people who know everything about darts, and that's taking darts in Holland for the kids to a different level. And as we've seen in Gibraltar at the World Championships for the youth, the team event, Holland Team A won, Holland Team B was second. And that was a splendid performance. And it's not from the last year or so. It's been a few years. They've really been well. But so in the future, yes, we can expect a lot.
It's nice as well that Michael's involved very much with the Dutch setup as well, wasn't he? I know he doesn't like to broadcast it or whatever, but he's very much involved in these developments of the kids.
He is, which is a very good thing. And I really have a lot of respect for him for doing that, because in a way, he bought himself a place in the board of the GDC. He bought himself a place. And he admits that as well. He did it on camera. But he said, I want to be there for the youth, because when I was 16, 15 years old, there was nothing for us, basically. And I want those kids to have a better surroundings, better circumstances for them to practice, nicer venues, bigger tournaments, everything better. And he puts money in it as well, because he really wants to. So a lot of credit for Michael for doing that.
Arjan, it's an absolute pleasure to stand there and talk all about Dutch darts with you.
With you as well, Phil. Thanks a lot, mate.
Pleasure, Arjan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.